Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Simsbury Water Pollution Control Authority. Present, it's 7:05 on Thursday, the 13th. Whoa, halfway through January already. Incredible. Present are Jacques Brignac, Lucian Dragulski. I'm Michael Park, sitting in his chair tonight, and also with us are Tom Roy and Allison Sturgeon, who keeps us honest and tells us what we actually really said at these meetings.
Tony.
Pardon?
And Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tony Piazza. I'm sorry, Tony.
That's okay.
I made fun of you and then left you out. Safety brief. We don't need to know how to get out of the facility. My only comment is from experience, don't let an area that doesn't look like ice, don't assume it's not slippery. I had an incident last week where I slipped on what I thought was snow and spent several days with heating pads and Tylenol and sore everything. So just be careful out there, as they used to say on Hill Street Blues. All right, so first item is the 22-23 budget discussion.
It's not the 2016, 2017? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Budget-wise, most everything except everything has stayed pretty flat. Several things are luckily our payroll's actually gone down because of change of personnel. Luckily, we got rid of a couple of higher paid employees, so we're starting back from scratch on a couple of operators positions.
I think you want to rephrase that, Tony. We gave some of the more experienced and seasoned employees the chance to retire.
There you go. See, you're always better at that than I am, Tom. The one thing that might change in there is they're still determining the insurance costs, so that might change prior to us voting on this next month. Contractual services, we had an increase in our lab costs from our outside lab, and we also outsourced some of our lab stuff that we were doing in-house at a tremendous savings to us, and it actually frees up one of our operators for the entire afternoon now, instead of having him in the lab trying to run tests. The electrical and natural gas costs, we renegotiated electrical costs this year. Our rates unfortunately went up a little bit, and then if you look at quite a bit, if you actually look at it, but it also provides a little safety factor in case we don't meet our contract obligations with them. Same thing with natural gas. Refuse disposal, that went up due to contract costs with MDC and with our sludge hauler, which were anticipated. And that's pretty much the increases. Net overall with those, not including our capital projects, is a 4% increase over last year, 4.5% increase over last year. Capital projects, we are looking at doing, putting safety railings on the roofs of all the buildings. That way it obviously protects all of our employees when we're up doing maintenance on the roofs. Doing the evaluation of the primary clarifier to see options to either repair and rehabilitate the primary clarifier, and even potentially mothball them or decommission them so we don't have to use them anymore. And other smaller items that we're doing are replacing the HVAC controls and one more thing. Oh, and the SCADA computers, which are 10 years old now. And also I put in another $100,000 for more sewer lining as well to continue on that project.
And Tony, just real quick, in the last couple years, what were ballpark? What were our increases like last year and the year before that?
Last year, we are actually a zero increase last year. Actually, we were less. We were negative, I think, 0.5% last year. We actually reduced our budget last year. The year before, we were usually past couple of years prior, we were right around 1.5% increases. And most of that was due to salaries.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of highlight, even though this year is going up a little bit more than in the past, all in all, I think the operating costs, I think Tony's done a real great job of keeping them down. I just know the 4% looks a little bit bigger than what we've seen, but I think in part it's due to some of our successes over the last couple of years.
I have a quick question about the rails on the roof. What kind of rails are you planning to install, Tony? It's the
they're going to be removable rails. What my plan is to do ones that are removable that are held down by weights. So you don't have to worry about affecting the
exactly.
Roof integrity.
You don't have to do anything with the roof. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Even though the roofs are in the budget in about 4 more years to look at replacing the roofs because they're at their end of their lifespan. So
we did something similar to this, Lucian, at Town Hall when we did some work, and every time I go up there, it's just, makes me feel so much better that we're protecting the employees and just making it really easy to keep them safe.
Absolutely, no question about it. The only thing was if it's the one that's that permanent, then when you have to mess up the roof, or you go with the one that Tony is proposing, which are great because you don't have to do anything for the roof.
Yeah.
And the controls, what kind of controls are you doing, Tony?
for the HVAC controls,
Yes.
right now they're using a J system. We used to have a standalone computer for that. And that computer died probably 5 or 6 years ago. And right now I'm using a virtual desktop to look at stuff. I can't really control anything in our systems. We've actually gone in and manually set everything on a bigger system, but it's getting to a point where, we need to start looking at stuff because our gas costs are going up. So I want to be able to get back in and start narrowing down those costs.
But are you talking to anybody or?
Right now we're working with ESC has a contract with us for HVAC maintenance and things like that. So we're looking at them. We'll look at Beacon Mechanical, we'll put it out for quotes and stuff from different companies. So.
Okay.
And I think the two things on that is as we get closer to that and kind of with your experience, Lucian, if you want to weigh in, I'm sure Tony would be happy getting your input. And then the other thing is we'll also be working, we have a new Tony's counterpart on our buildings and ground side is pretty well versed in this, and we're going to bring him in to help us out too.
Whenever you're on, just let me know, give me a couple of days notice and we'll stop by.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
And we'll hope to have this all straightened out. We have our meeting with the town manager and the finance director next Friday to get all those final costs for us. So we'll have everything ready for approval for next month.
Okay. And will you send that out to us so we can have a look at it early?
Yes.
Or we'll
Yeah,
do it?
we'll send it out with the meeting documents for next month.
Right. Okay, great. Status report.
Hold on a second. We got to go back and open up stuff. Woodland Street project, we're actually going along really well like that. We finished up the work along Hot Meadow Street and the south end of Woodland Street. There's a couple of, finished landscaping will be done in the spring, and we have to do some more sidewalk work going to the homes. We still have to finish the north end of Woodland Street. We got to a point where we decided to stop the work to make sure Tom's guys are happy when it's plowing. In the middle of wintertime, we don't have to worry about anything getting torn up by plows. Right now, they are working behind table 570, installing the line there to pick up the last couple of homes on the east side of Hot Meadow Street, and then they're planning to go into Dinah Nobel to do the 800 feet inside Dinah Nobel property to connect all of those lines together and eliminate the zigzag through Dinah Nobel property. Haven't heard anything back yet from Pine Hill homeowners. They're asking a lot of questions, and we're giving them information, so we'll see if that comes out anywhere. And Murphy's Turn, we'll be able to accept that next week. Same with, or next week, next month meeting, we'll be able to accept that along with Powder Forest, the Highcroft townhomes. I just got it finishing looking at the final video inspections of those projects, and we'll be able to release those or accept those projects fully into the town system.
Just a quick note on Pine Hill. There has been some talk as to whether or not it's going to be acceptable to use the ARPA funding, the federal COVID stimulus funding. Currently, there's been a little change in our finance director thinks that it may actually qualify. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the direction the town wants to go, but currently they're leaning towards it may be a qualifying expense.
Is that that's what the new changes they just made, Tom?
That was with some of the recent changes. I still want to be very careful to make sure that everybody involved is understanding what exactly the sewer work there entails as to whether or not it will or will not qualify. The other issue is whether it qualify. If it does qualify, it doesn't mean that the Board of Selectmen is going to want to necessarily guarantee that that's what the funding is going to be used for. And I think we talked about it at last meeting, is there's the whole equitability standpoint of there are a lot of other similar privately owned sewers, and they would want to make sure they treat everybody fairly.
Just a side note about, because you mentioned plowing. I'm always impressed. I mean, I'm on a side road, a cul-de-sac, and it's always well plowed in a timely fashion. So it's something I don't worry about. I take it for granted, and I probably shouldn't, given circumstances, but it's always very well done.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll make sure they're the right guys know about it.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Here,
Treatment facility report.
We're doing well with process-wise. In December, we had AECom. They're supposed to get us the draft copy of the facilities plan and the water pollution control plan. Hopefully next week. I'm working with them, finalizing a couple of last little details. Sewer lining, they finished up at Town Hall and got the Town Hall all squared away, so they shouldn't have any root issues at Town Hall for quite some time. The lining of the force main, they're doing some final measurements with that to make sure we can get that done properly. And then hopefully that'll start up in the next couple of weeks. Secondary clarifier covers, RH White finished the installation last week of one clarifier. We're letting the process stabilize back out for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll start the second one. And we're trying to schedule some interviews for sometime next week for the open operator position.
What's that? Just open operator.
We had one operator position that hasn't been. We've been trying to fill it for a while now. We did some interviews in November and didn't have any qualified candidates at that time. So we put it out again. Actually got a lot better selection this time. So hopefully we'll find somebody that will jump right in and be raring to go.
Oh, good. And anything on all of the numbers?
No, all the numbers actually look really good. I mean, just because we did the work and with the clarifier, our nitrogen numbers were a little bit off last month, but we still looks like, depending on the state's formulas and stuff like that, we're looking with the nitrogen credit that they're slowly dwindling away. We'll probably get about $5,000, $6,000 back from the state for that this year. It's just similar to what we got last year.
Correspondence.
There isn't any.
None.
Okay.
Before we go past that, Tony, do you want to talk about the launder cover project?
It's going. It's actually it was a little challenging. We had with the when they were doing the work, we actually had one of our oxidation ditch aerators went down, so it caused a little upset with the plant. We tried writing it out as best we could.
I guess you got to go back to the beginning. This is where we're putting the covers over the clarifiers, so it's a pretty big project. And unlike when we're doing work on our cars or on anything else, here it is. The plant as the machine still has to operate, and Tony and his team is responsible for keeping it operating. Where you take half of our clarifying capacity out of order for a couple of weeks. So they've really been doing a good job of kind of working through that. And I think we're looking forward to getting that done sooner.
Yeah. My operators have done a really good job, and I my lead operator, I keep plugging him all the time because he's my worry guy. He tells me every day, Tony, you need to look at this. Tony, you need to look at this. I'm like, all right, thanks. I said, I'm not telling you to stop, but I got it. We're good. But no, it's been a good project. The guys have done a good job keeping me on my toes, making me think about extra stuff, different processes. But like I said, we got this one done. Hopefully, once the process stabilizes back out, we'll be able to get the other system online, and it'll take probably 2 weeks for them to finish the second clarifier. And then hopefully we won't have any more problems with our freshwater coral that is growing in our UV system.
Freshwater coral?
That's what the protozoan, that's what we had an issue. This started probably 4 years ago. And it feeds on algae.
Huh.
So, and the reason, the way to get rid of it is to get rid of the algae. So that was the whole point behind this project.
Huh.
So we're blocking out the sun.
Well, might not have any problem with that the next few days.
No.
Okay, it brings us up to the December 9th meeting minutes. Any questions or comments, changes to those? Want to take a few
on
minutes?
those since we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, we can't vote. You
we
can make
can't.
changes,
Okay.
but we can't accept anything.
Okay.
I actually had a quick one for you, Allison. And I could even send it to you offline. Just in the Pine Hill homeowners discussion, the third paragraph, just where it says in the second sentence, the town's current understanding is that it would not be able to be used, comma, although if it could be used, it would be used for all privately owned sewers. I just want to put down that it would be an option to be used for all privately owned sewers. It would be up to the Board of Selectmen to make that determination.
So we can consider these minutes along with the minutes for this evening at the next meeting, and then vote to accept them with that change. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nothing.
Motion to it. Go ahead.
No, you actually, you can't even make a motion to adjourn because it's not a meeting.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
True.
That's right.
Recommendation to stop broadcasting and streaming.